Yael is in Alaska, so I have to say got it to something, I got it. To Aurora, Catherine, in Copenhagen, Denmark. Hello, Glenn. Annapolis, British Columbia. Hi, Julian and Jeannie. Muna from Haifa, the Holy Land. Welcome. La Jolla, California. Oh, it moved so fast. Wyoming. And Lima, Peru. Celine, welcome. Philippines and Australia. Nanamo, New York City, Oregon coast. Cheshire, England. We're spreading the circle. Ontario, Canada. Alaska. Oregon. Mexico. Chicago. We are from many continents and many countries and many perspectives. St. Croix, Virgin Islands. There is a song in Hebrew that says, "Dvarim sheroim misham lo roim mikan," things you see from there, you don't see from here. So we each see from where we are. Oakland, California, hello. So if you haven't written where you're from, we'll give another half a minute for those who want to and haven't had a chance. Welcome one and all, welcome Mother Earth. And we have Massachusetts and New Mexico. Albuquerque, welcome, Madeleine. Over to you, Yael.
Thank you, Diana. Thank you, everyone, for co-creating this with us. And I'm Yael. I'm here in Alaska, married to a native man who is a traditional messenger of his people, the Unangan or Aleut people of Alaska. And one of the things that I find are keys for peace, and the elders here speak about, and also my womb was talking to me about, which is really why I'm married to this man, because I heard him say these things I felt when I gave birth in videos. And one of these things are that they are saying that when women come together in true sisterhood, connect to the womb inside and beyond, the wombs around us, and then ceremonially, if we take that energy collectively and put it outside of ourselves, then a sacred container for something truly in you to be possibly birthed into the world is formed. So this is why we do these circles. And the way we do them is based on traditional talking circles. Traditional talking circles are a phrase coined by our elder here in Alaska, the late Rita Blumenstein, a Yupik elder that has worked with many traditions around the world, indigenous traditions. And she is recognized that even though these circles exist in many forms, many names, they share the same guidelines. And so these are the guidelines that we keep in order to have a safe, brave container. And the first thing is to read the guidelines before, at the beginning of each circle. And she has gathered them and handed them down to us. And I've been trying to concise it into something that is accessible and coherent and a bit short for us Westerners and others. And so today I'm going to try and do it in a form that sometimes, if you know me, I sometimes get things in kind of like a spoken words or rhyme, and it makes things a lot shorter. And we would like to have as much time as possible to hear from our wisdom keepers. So I'm going to try that the first time. I might mess it up, but it might save time. So forgive me in advance, and let's give it a go. Okay, here we go. When we come to a sacred circle. Let us all be listening as the circle talks, as it takes its walk through you, through me, through our other selves. Let us be mindful of time and attention. Trust the hearts to hear the intention. Let us be respectful even if there is tension. And honor selves and other selves, absent or here. Don't mention any names if you are not sure or unclear. I speak only of myself and what I know for myself to be true. Through my lived experiences, I've gone and still am going through. Knowing yours may be very different, but it's valid just the same. In this potluck of offerings, please speak only in your name. Don't look for blame, shame, or fame. This isn't a game. We all came for truth. And if there is some discomfort, no need to say it or pretend. Just allow it to be, or make room like the woman expands. Listen with the innocence of a child, hearing for the first time that there is such a thing as unicorn, or potluck, or rhyme. No need to argue, judge, fight, or resist. Here, even contradictions are free to coexist. Secrets are safe, and even if you don't say a word, you'll be accepted, respected, and heard. If you don't speak, don't plan. If you do speak, do not plan nor aim for a tissue or a wow. Just listen to what's coming through. Let go of the how. Let the words ripen, hatch, and come into the now. May we be open to receive that which wishes to emerge as our hearts and wombs come together and merge in the sacred circle. Thank you. And now, if you'd like to suggest a change, now would be the time to either unmute or put it in the chat box, because these guidelines we all need to agree to before we begin. So please suggest your adjustments. Okay, thank you. And with that, we can open the sacred space with our Maori wisdom keeper, Paia Catherine. Please invoke this circle with a blessing.
Kia ora. Thank you, Yael, for those reminders and remarks. Thank you for everyone for coming today. I really appreciate it. And I thought I'll keep it brief, but I do want to take the liberty of dedicating this waiata, this song. It's like an invocation also. But I'd like to dedicate it to my new moko, my new grandchild, who was brought into the world just this week. And yeah, so it's a big week right now. And boy, this Gregorian calendar year is going to be big too. So yeah, buckle up, brace for whatever's coming, and we'll go with the flow as well. Like Yael said, it's contradictions. But oh yes, there in the chat are the words in our Māori language and a translation in English if you'd like to follow along. It's a very simple tune, but very straightforward, to the point messaging. So it goes something a little like this. Ai o ki te aorangi, ai o ki te aorangi, aroha ki te aorangi, aroha ki te aorangi. Kwa, 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 ki te aorangi. Kwa, 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 ki te aorangi. Pono, ki te aorangi. Pono, ki te aorangi. Tūturu whakamaua ki a tīna, haumi e hui e, tae ki e. Kia ora.
Thank you so much, Catherine. And as we said, for a sacred feminine space to be created, we need to connect to our wombs. And Diana is the one helping us with womb meditation. And since she needs to leave a bit early, she'll also be the first one to share about the moon. So Diana, take us to the womb and to the moon and beyond.
Thank you, Catherine, for opening the space with this chant, and apologies for needing to leave early, and I will continue to be with you in spirit after I leave. So let's kindle our light as we do. Inviting you to kindle your inner light, your fire outside or inside. Allowing your inside fire and your outside fire to resonate with the circle's fire, with the earth's fire, with the fire of passion and compassion. And inviting us to close our eyes and to take a deep breath into our center. And to place both hands on our heart, to feel the beat of the heart of the earth, our mother, in your heart. And to move one hand to your womb, either flesh and blood womb if you have one in your body in this lifetime, or your etheric womb if your womb has been removed surgically, or keep your hands on your heart if you do not have a womb or you wish to stay in your heart space only. And inviting us to take a journey of reconnecting, re-inspiring ourselves with the moon through our womb. So let's start with the rhythm of the moon, with the rhythm of the womb, which is expansion, contraction. So let's take the deepest, widest, biggest breath that we can take. Holding it for a moment and contracting to exhale to the smallest deflation of possibility. And as we continue to breathe, inviting us, our eyes are closed, no one is watching, and if they are, they'll see you, and you are magnificent. Inviting us to open our palms, our hearts, our hands, and our arms, our toes, our pelvis, our belly, expanding our lungs, expanding our body, expanding ourselves as wide and big as possible. Feeling the expansion and starting to contract, bringing your fists to your heart, clenching your toes, clenching your breath, exhaling all that you can. And let's take a moment or a few moments to expand and contract in silence for you to experience in your body that motion of the moon. As you expand, open yourself to all possibilities. As you contract, go inside yourself, to the kernel, to the core that is you. Allowing yourself to expand and open to the world, to the circle, to events, to the flow of life. As we contract, we leave all of that behind and we just fold into ourselves to find your dormant seed, your true self inside, with no hindrance of any other energy. Opening up our arms, our lungs, our minds, our body, our breath, and releasing our opinions, our thoughts, our convictions, anything and everything except for the heartbeat is present when we contract. And this rhythm of expansion, contraction, of inhale and exhale is the rhythm of the moon. With every breath that we take, we can connect with her. It's the rhythm of our womb. It's the rhythm of our heart. It's the rhythm of life. Expansion, contraction happens with every breath we take. The moon is there. With every heartbeat, the moon is there. With every day and night as the earth expands and contracts, exhales and inhales with daylight and darkness. With the weekly return of the rhythm of 1 7-octave week, the music of the week. With the 28th day rhythm of the moon that returns through our womb. With the seasonal rhythm of the seasons that return time and again, year after year, season after season. Allowing ourselves to be one with that rhythm, which is not linear, which is not moving forward, but is a spiral, a cycle, a returning. We turn outward and we turn inward. We turn inward and we turn outward. We turn and return. And beginning with our eyes closed to let go of the rhythm of the expansion, contraction of the whole body, and staying with the heartbeat, staying with the breath, staying with the moon that's inside our breathing in every moment. And with our eyes closed, beginning to return our awareness more to this moment in time, to your physical body on the chair, to being part of a circle, remembering with our eyes closed the circle that's in front of us on the screen, remembering the room you are sitting in, the shapes and objects and colors around you. Wiggling your toes and fingers to bring your awareness into this moment, into the physicality of you. And when you are ready and here, allow your eyes to gently open. And welcome back. While we are doing our life busy with worries and errands and activities, that rhythm continues. The rhythm of the heart, the rhythm of the womb, the rhythm of the moon. We are living in a society and in a culture globally that is only facing the sun. that is only facing the light, the known, the seen, the visible, the explainable. But the moon teaches us that there is a rotation into the dark side every 24 hours, every 12 hours actually. So inviting us to consider what in our lives is in full light, clarity, understanding, and what in our lives is in darkness, in mislight, unlight, unlit, what is unknown to us, and how can we be willing to move forward into the darkness, to embrace the unknown, to live in a way that we can accept not knowing, not understanding, being puzzled, yearning for explanation, yearning for clarity, and yet accepting the darkness of the unknown as what is, not always being gravitating towards what can be lit and understood and explained. So let's take a moment to contemplate each for ourselves. What is the biggest unknown, the biggest disclarity, unclarity in our lives right now? And how can we walk towards it without fear? How can we call the dark side of the moon to help us to go into the place of unknown, uncertainty, not understanding, not knowing, and yet embracing? Let's take a moment for that. Fear might come up, anxiety of the unknown, a wish to understand, to get a handle. Name those for yourself. Oh, this is what's coming up for me, but I'm staying here. I'm staying with the unknown. I'm embracing what's unclear to me. And I'm okay with that. How can I be okay with that? How can I be okay with the dark side of the moon? Let's take a moment for that. And one of the keys for that is befriending the dark, befriending darkness. So when you are at home at night and you get up from sleep to go to the bathroom, or you're not sleeping yet and you are about to turn the light on, wait. Keep it dark for a while. Or don't turn the lights on if you get up to do something while you are asleep at night. Walk with the sense of your awareness rather than your vision. Walk with the intention of befriending the dark, of befriending the other senses that are not our visuals, befriending the ability to sense with your skin, with your heart, with your ears, with your womb, with your fingertips, with your breath, anything but the visual and light. The moon is teaching us that both are equal, both are friends. We as a culture have made an enemy out of the darkness. Let's befriend it individually and collectively. Let's get familiar with the dark side of the moon so that we can live the full cycle, the full circle, so we can spiral in and out, light and darkness every day. Inviting us to return to ourselves, bringing calm to the places that might have been alarmed by going into the unknown. Feeling again our heart under one palm, our womb under the other. Feeling the heartbeat and the moonbeat in our heart and womb. Allowing our hands to come back if you want to move them to your lap or to your sides, or keep them as you wish. And inviting us to return to the circle, to this moment, to now. And when you are here again, let your eyes gently open and bring you back in fullness into this moment. Thank you. Welcome back.
Thank you, Diana. Toda rabba for this dance with the moon, with the light and the darkness, for everything that you have reminded us. It brings to me also two elders that aren't with us today, but have sent their blessings. One is Puna Kalama, Auntie Puna from Hawaii, who speaks about how your light that you are belongs to you, and it started when you were conceived in your mother's womb. And this sense of light in the midst of this great, healthy darkness, without which we wouldn't be here, is one thing. And the other thing, as you were talking about the fear of darkness, is it's a lot is coming in, but I'll just say that we have an elder, Anita Sanchez, who is Aztec and Mexicana, and she is talking a lot about forgiving the unforgivable. And a lot of people nowadays are in such pain that they are not even willing to look at the darkness. And she's talking about forgiving the unforgivable. And it reminded me of that when you were helping us look at the darkness and maybe shift from animosity to something else. So thank you for that. And we have Kumu Sabra, who wasn't sure she was going to be able to join us. So I want to get you while we can, because I know you're super busy in Maui. And so please share with us what comes through you, Kumu.
Aloha mai kako, greetings to each and every one of you. I am here on the island of Maui. Right now I am down in Kihei and I'm right next to the ocean. The ocean is really pounding, it's really loud. So I'll try to go someplace where it's a little quiet. Can you hear me okay? Huh? Okay. All right. Is it? All right. Okay, good. Thank you. So this is a chant that we teach our children about the phases of the moon. And it sounds like this, because hopefully when we all get together again, I would love to share this chant with you and to teach every one of you. So it goes like this. Kamali'i ke olei ka helupo, muku nei, muku kamalama, hilo nei, kau kahoaka, e haku, e ha ole, puna mohalu, hua akua, hoku mahialani kulu, e kolula au, e kolu ole, e kolu kalo. Oh, sorry, I'm next to the lifeguard station and he is cautioning people to be careful out there in the ocean. But I must tell you that yesterday at Lahaina, we prayed for the people, you know, who had suffered from that horrendous fire. And there were over 1,000 people, maybe 1,500 people who walked along the path there in Lahaina to a park. And we had many activities with Captain Steve, and we took our keiki. He took his keiki lessons, the children's canoe lessons, there for them to play and to build. And we'll share some pictures with you, Yael, of the children sitting and learning and playing. We just trying so hard to give them joy and peace and happiness and hope, because these fires have been incredibly devastating. And I wish for each and every one of you around the world peace, happiness, and hope. Aloha no.
Mahalo, Kumusebra.
My
Mahalo
pleasure.
for sharing and for everything that you're doing. Kumusebra usually is located in Kauai, on Kauai Island, and she was asked to go to Maui to help people find comfort, find their strength, their power. And as you can see, she's doing that, and she wasn't sure she was going to be able to be with us. So I'm so happy you managed to bring some of the ocean and the hope to our hearts as well. Thank you. Mahalo, kumu, aloha.
You, and much aloha to each and every one of you. Aloha from Maui today.
And Jeannie, may I ask you to give Zen perspective, NASA perspective, whatever it is you care to bring into the circle, please.
Zen perspective, NASA perspective. I'm not often asked to connect those dots, but I moved by Deanna's talk and Sibra's talk, what it means to move into the darkness and face the darkness, and what it means to face not knowing. So this theme will weave through my own comments. When I was a little girl, maybe 5 years old, the president of my country, President Kennedy at the time, made an appointment on the moon, Maybe some of you remember that by the end of the 60s, we would land a person on the moon. No, a man on the moon. Let me be clear. It's going to be a man on the moon and bring him back safely. And I would look up at the moon and just imagine that exploration, just imagine that. And it just so grabbed me, so hit me that I wrote NASA when I was 13 years old to ask how I could become an astronaut, because my parents never told me that little girls didn't do this. And NASA actually wrote me back and they gave me directions. What I would say though and I did work for NASA for many years. What I would say of that appointment on the moon though is that what I didn't realize as a 5-year-old, but I can see much better in hindsight, is how, as Deanna said, in a culture that only faces the sun, in a culture that wants to make everything clear and known, and in a culture that's based on what Ilarion Merculieff has called the masculine imbalance. Going to the moon was a competitive militaristic venture, a colonizing venture, articulated with the colonizing act of planting a flag, right? What could be more than colonizing than that? So that aspect of it, we can really see how much the culture grabs the moon into its image, right? But what also came out of that time for me as a young child was hearing President Kennedy say, we do this not because it's easy, but because it's difficult. And that also really pulled me to face what's difficult. And when we can face what's difficult and stretch ourselves into the not knowing, into the darkness, into the suffering, and not necessarily with just the masculine energy, but the feminine energy with the loving and the compassion and the expansion, then there's a power in that that stays with me, that speaks still to me. And in my Zen teaching, I've been deeply moved by how the moon becomes used, or becomes an image, a teacher in Zen. Maybe you've heard a phrase of not mistaking the finger pointing to the moon for the moon. You know, maybe you've heard a phrase like that, right? To not mistake our language, our words, our pointing out directions for the truth that they point to. That the moon is an absolute real, if you will, and how we try to reach it, how we try to describe it, always gets constrained by the limits of language, which themselves get limited by culture, and even more fundamentally by subject-object distinction, self and other, right? Subject-object, knower and known. And in that frame, one of the Zen Buddhist sutras will talk about the way you and I normally see is like a second moon reflected in water. Just picture that for a moment. Like there's the real moon, then there's a second moon reflected in water. What is it getting at? It's getting at, first, if you imagine that reflection, if you imagine that resonance between this moon and the water, it's going to look different depending on the condition of the water, right? You know, if there's a lot of waves and chop and a pounding ocean, it's going to be all disturbed. And if it's all calm, it's going to be clear. But still, it's a resonance from, as Deanna said in her opening, a particular point of view. And because of that, we're always seeing something that is reflecting or reifying us until we see through that. And that is what the moon is pointing us toward, this sense of there's a way to just see clearly. Not see just from a fixed eye, but see clearly. And a story shared in Zen tradition, just to give you a feeling of this, was a story of a Zen nun, Chiono is her name, Chiono. And Chiono was very sincere. She was very dear practitioner who was living in a nunnery in Japan hundreds of years. And she was at a well, picture this, filling water in a bucket in a well. And she saw the moon's reflection in the bucket. Can you picture that? What it would look like to see the moon reflected in a bucket of water. And suddenly the straps on the bottom of the bucket broke and all the water and the moon disappeared. And that was what led to her awakening. And she wrote a poem about it, a poem about describing this event. She said, and I feel this could apply to so many of us, which is why I'd like to read these words. With this and that, I tried to keep the bucket together, and then the bottom fell out. Where water does not collect, the moon does not dwell. I will leave it there.
Thank you so much, Jeannie. And it's amazing how the water is here with us in Kumu Sabra's background. And now the wave carried it onto your words. And if you can put in the chat this little poem that you just read. Thank you so, so much. And Ia, may I ask you to take us from here?
Good afternoon. I am Iya Tahira, St. Croix, Virgin Islands. I'm intrigued by all the stories, and somehow I want to speak to all the stories because they bring me back memories of all the stories. And one story that comes alive is, as a young child, I don't know how many you know, I grew up in Mississippi. And there was wide open fields, and I loved the spinning as a child. I loved spinning. I don't know how we as children knew the song. I don't know if grandmothers or somebody. I see the moon and the moon see me was one of the songs that we sang all the time. The other thing that I noticed is that in my growing up years, the old, at harvest time, the grandmothers and grandfathers would collect the seeds and they would put them away to be harvested. Just think about they putting them away in the dark side of the moon. Just think about what they're doing. And they putting these seeds in a place of nurturing. Look at the womb connection that's happening. So that's how when I went back through it, I was looking at it and I'm like, wow, they was working in womb medicine even then in the situation they was in. They was working in moon medicine. So here comes this time that we're in now. So what do? We put seeds, the seeds are germinating. Springtime comes and everything breaks up, and what comes now? We step into the other phase of the moon where we put things in the ground and then we allow for things to come to their fullness. And we meet this cycle over and over again. We never think about it. They had the old almanac calendar. They even cleared the land in relationship to where the moon was. And so here we are on this, looking at this connection. And then the further I went down that rabbit hole to learn, I learned that my ancient ancestors prayed to the moon in these cycles. They would make prayer to the moon, the mother, because everything is related to this sacred movement of the mother of creation itself. And when we forget to walk back into creation, she wiggles until we get back. And now she's wiggling because she's going through a stage of birthing. And so how do we get home? How do we become part of that birthing? And I think each one of us speaking to that has spoken. We go back into the womb, the darkness of our own womb, and we follow the rhythms of the moon itself. If we intentionally follow the rhythms of the new moon gives us opportunity to plant a new seed every cycle, and to begin to birth something new. If we, those of us who are in this circle, could just remember that, and each one of us take that little seed today, and we go back and we bow to ourselves that this will be the activation that we take away from this circle. I may better yet, we already done that. So if you're coming into, now you're waxing, you're breathing in and you're waxing, and you come into that full stage where the full moon comes up. What will you give gratitude at that place? And what will you look at that you can take away and begin that cycle and go into the darkness and face that darkness of the womb? And what have I not resolved? What needs to be transmuted here? Can you set in the 7 days of darkness with the moon and activate that one piece? It doesn't have to be the whole thing. It doesn't have to be your whole life. It can be one activation. And that activation opens the door to what we call it for on this earth: balance, peace, transformation. Why is it so potent now? Because we've been doing this for a while, haven't we? If any of you was around in 1987 was the first harmonic conversion, is when we stepped into this this rhythm and calling for peace, right? Why isn't it happening, folks? Activation. Now we are on board. The missing piece is on board now. We can break through the colonization of the mind and the condition and the separation. We, the mothers, we, the grandmother, we, the great grandmother, we, the daughters, can do that step by step. Each one of us have a tool in our hand, creating a sacred fire, offering our blood to the base of a tree, and calling for what we want in the earth. We, the women, you don't need weaponry. You don't need guns. You need you. You need to step back into that womb with your mother, because she can heal herself. When we recognize we're not saving Mother Earth, we save it ourselves. Mother Earth will turn us off of her and save herself. We women are saving ourselves, and creation is calling to us to take that stand today. To stand in that middle passage and say yes. And come back to what we know, our womb space. Come back home to our womb and thank her and forgive her. If we feel that we have birthed something in the world that is obstructed to the world, we can change that and say, oh, I forgive myself for having, because in that ignorance, I didn't know that I was birthing in something that could be obstructing to the world. I didn't know that. And perhaps my ancestors didn't know that. So we can take on this great movement of forgiving the unforgivable and reconcile and create a pathway and a bridgeway for new creation on this earth. We can begin that, open that door. And that's what I want to invite us to do, to be willing to step into that darkness in the spirit that we're going through. We don't need to be going outside. Creation is asking us to come home to ourselves. And this year, spend this year in harvesting and clearing the way for the new earth. Because we can't create the new earth until we do what our ancestors did in the new moon. We cleared the land first. We cleared the debris away in order to put these new seeds in. So we together are bringing forth new seeds. So I invite you, if you hadn't done it in this new moon, just create a ritual and plant that new seed and envision what you're bringing, planning to bring into new earth. I invite all of us to do that. What am I harvesting? What will I bring into new earth? What seed? And with that, I close. Gratitude to all of you for being here and being willing to step into this valuable, auspicious time in creation. Trust yourself. You got what it takes. Trust yourself.
Ashe, ashe, ashe. Thank you, Elder. Thank you, Iya, for these reminders. It really kind of makes me think of how sometimes we try to bury that which we don't want, and maybe the difference between a tomb and a womb is that they both have the darkness, and they both, have things that we want to put deep in. But then if we let the cycle, if we let life take over, then it might turn from a tomb to a womb. And this notion of consciously putting the seed with the rhythm of the moon, it feels like the moon is kind of like the drummer from Mother Earth. If we're not sure when to do what, we can look up and she'll be there. And she's going to do her dance and kind of invite us to join in. So thank you for these reminders. And Celine, I would like for you to offer yours as well, please. I'll just say that at the beginning of these circles, we were trying to get it on the full moon and we couldn't because of schedules and things. And I was like, why are we doing this before? And then Celine said that in her tradition, actually, you start kind of midwifing or being a doula for the full moon a few days before. And so I don't know what you're going to bring today, Celine, but I just wanted to put that in here too.
Thank you so much. Hayi hayaya, hayi hayaya, mama killacha, hayi hayaya. As every month we do this offering. This offering is for Mother Moon. And I want to show to you the altars we have here. There is a fire, there is a moon side, and there is the earth, the fire, the water, the elements that make us remind we are alive because the moon wants that. If the moon won't like us to be alive, we couldn't. So in our Quechua culture, we don't call moon, we call Mama Quilla, because we consider that we belong to a mother and we have this relationship with Mama Quilla. Mama Quilla is moon, no? We don't deal with Mama Quilla with disrespect because we respect your mother and you deal with the mother Quilla with respect. You honor the Mama Quilla because you are similar to her. All your DNA belongs to Mama Quilla. So all my DNA belongs to Mama Quilla, to the moon. So I should honor that. We plant our plants when the moon is growing. We cut our hair when the moon is full. We do harvest when the moon is full. And as a physician, I have been studying that not just in Peru, but or the Andean region, all around the world, 82% of the births happen during the night time, because Mama Quilla wants that, because Mama Quilla wants to protect the newborn people. And Mama Quilla deserves our deepest respect, as well as Mama Quilla heard our pledges, our praying, our desires. So we do ask for favors to the Mama Quilla. Mama Quilla help us with our children, with our parents, with our travels, with our journey. So every day we remind there is Mama Quilla rebirth again every 28 days. And this I remind that we have the opportunity to rebirth every 28 days. We do mistakes. We are humans. We are full of regrets. We are humans. We are full of rage. We are humans. But at the same time, we belong to the Mama Quilla. We belong to the Mother Moon. So we can ask for forgiveness. We can ask to her for some peace of mind. We can ask her for money. We can ask her for health. In our beliefs are very strong. If you don't pay honor to the Mama Quilla, she can get upset. And that's why we honor her in our altars. And the most beautiful thing we can offer to Mama Quilla is a lesson, another person who can learn how to pay honor to Mama Quilla. We have many moon temples here in my culture, in the Quechua culture, but most importantly, in the Aymaran culture. We have in every city, in every place, in every part of this country, of this continent, one moon temple by culture. That's the importance has the moon. The moon temple is the place where humanity was born and is keeping the wisdom as well as the womb keeps the life. The womb is the keeper of the DNA, as well as the mama quilla is the keeper of the DNA. If we clean up the mama quilla, if we clean up ourselves, like every womb do every 28 days, we are cleaning our nature, we are cleaning our DNA. And the DNA is the code for cancer. In the DNA is the code for happiness. So we need to discover through honoring the Mama Quilla, what is our destiny here. And do not forget that we all belong to her. It's our mother. It's something sacred. It's something that we belong to because she gave us the life. And it's so simple. Every time we saw the full moon, we do this. And we honor and we take a light of moon. We think that it's so important to remind the young people that we do belong to the moon. We belong to the moon. That's why 82% of the births happen during the night because she takes care of us. She is doing the job. She is doing the hard job. We cannot see it. Because we cannot see it, we cannot stop believing. Is the thing. And now, talking as a scientist, when it's full moon, everything flourishes, everything blooms. But humans, we forgot to bloom every full moon. In every full moon is an opportunity to do a party for the occasion to still alive, to have 2 legs, 2 arms, and that's enough. Is what we do need to make other people happy. Make other people happy just by existing. If our existence can bring hope, happiness to just other human being, that will be good for us. So I will offer to the Mother Moon, the Mama Quilla, Mother Moon, Mama Quilla. I want to invite all the cultures to respect this name and to adopt this name. When you say in the Quechua culture, Mama Quilla, it's a signal of identification. It's a signal that you are aligned with the Mama Quilla and you recognize the superior power of her in your life, and you recognize that she is guiding you, even if you don't know. Even if you didn't realize she is protecting you, you must say thank you. If you have food in your table, if you have life inside of your DNA, it's because Mama Quilla wants. Every 28 days, she is there to remind you you are alive because you keep a DNA. And this is the most important thing that you have. And you must honor that. And how to honor? By sharing with other humans, communicate with other humans. Come on, be gentle, be kind, show some kindness. Show some kindness as an offering of gratitude to Mama Quilla. As my gratitude to Mama Quilla, I will invite you to call Mama Quilla the moon. We got so offended when North America says they step on the moon. We don't believe that. So we think this is a very disrespectful thing, especially because it don't have a purpose. Why the human don't step again in the moon? Why they did not? Probably because Mama Quilla is super powerful. You feel miserable, you feel abandoned, you feel sad, you feel depressed, you feel very, very sick, you feel in pain. Say thank you to Mama Quilla, because if she wouldn't be taking care of you, you will suffer the double. She is taking care of you, even if you don't realize, even if you don't pay attention, even if you don't pay any honor to her, even if you even don't know when is full moon, when will be the next full moon, where is the full moon now, where is the full moon. In our tradition, every important thing happen in the full moon, marriages, offerings, any business closing, buying a new car, harvesting your farm, buying a new horse, buying a new ship. All for us, this happened in the full moon, because we do believe that is our eternal mother, even if we don't realize she's taking care of us. And we are offering every month in these circles our altars to her, to make her reminds that we pay honor, we are here showing some gratitude to her, even if some people do not know. And I am very grateful because Mama Kilia sent me a student from abroad, from very far away. And I am super grateful. And I want to share this with you because you saw all the students of mine in the past. And I am surprised because young people, very smart people, very beautiful people coming from all the parts of the world come to me to take this lesson of Mama Kilia. Taking lesson of Mama Kilia is protecting your life. Is making your family and your relative protected by your love. Is making your love growing up until the infinite. And Mama Kilia also brings the knowledge of the eternal, the eternity. Mama Kilia is eternal. Always will be there, even if you forgot. She is taking care of you, even in the worst situation, even in the place with war, with suffering, full of blood. She is there. She is there contemplating that your miserable life is getting much better because she is there, and she will be then for the next 28 days. So I want to offer this song. It's very old song for Mama Kilia. Now let me introduce my student. She is making her altar also for Mama Kilia with the elements. We have the seeds. And she is learning how to build the altars for Mama Kilia. She's a very smart woman. She's very connected. She's so young and she wants to learn about this culture and this shamanism and this magic that we have. And I am grateful with Mama Kilia because Mama Kilia sent her to me. I used to have more male students, but I am so honored that this woman comes to me. And thank you for the young people that wants to study being a traditional healer. Thank you, Mama Kilia, for sending Rebecca.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Celine. Thank you. Unanachiskama.
Tupananchiskama.
And thank you, Rebecca, for joining and bringing the new generation being representative. And thank you, Celine, for reminding us of how most births happen at night and how the moon is helping us to take care of those births and everything that, again, that she's keeping the rhythm and we can join with that rhythm and be in alignment with earth, with life, with everything there is. So thank you for that reminder. And to give gratitude and not take for granted. And with that, I would like to go to someone who sounds like moon in her name, Muna. Can you please share with us?
Hi, everyone. Good day, good evening. So, yeah, my name is Muna. I'm from the Holy Land. I'm Palestinian. And wow, I'm really left with no words. So many wise and amazing words have been said, and I'm trying to stand up to these standards, and I'm not really sure how to. Basically, I think because in my culture, there is a lot of like the word for moon is masculine, and the moon has become a masculine figure, and we kind of needed to reclaim our connection to the moon as women, and we have been doing that in the last few years. But a lot of the connection to the moon has been done because of, like the Abrahamic religions taking over this place, and then the culture becoming so masculine here. And basically, when I think of, like, Elle told me to talk about the moon in the culture essence, and I'm like, wow. So really, we talk about the moon as the one who stays up in the night, but very much in a romantic way, like the one who accompanies the lovers. This is this is like the main thing that people talk about the moon here. And also we do have names for the full moon and the new moon. It's a different name, I think, in Hebrew as well, right? So both in Arabic and in Hebrew, we have a different word for a full moon and new moon. But as I said, we have been reclaiming our connection, because it's, like, how can you make that mistake? It's like, hello. So women have been gathering together. I personally led a women's circle for 2 years. I gathered Palestinian women, and we've been gathering for new moon ceremony every month, and it went on, and the connection that was, created, the bond that was created was incredible. It's still strong, even though we all went to our like very busy life. And kind of listening to what needs to come through in this day, or in this night. For me, it's night right now. I was thinking about, you spoke so much of the dark side of the moon, and I want to speak of the light side of the moon. Like, how can I as a person move to receive the light, and watch of how, like, which part of me can be lit right now, which part of me is willing to receive the light and reflect it on. And this essence of the beginning, and the full moon coming full circle, and then starting to wind down. And what happens when it winds down? Are we missing the fullness of the moon? Can we really be present in every day of the moon the way it is? How can I really be present in where I am? And just contemplating on that and thinking about that, about the movement of where I am, and accepting myself the way I am and where I am right now exactly. But really, along with all these thoughts, like all these very contemplative thoughts, the real calling in my heart, and I'm not really sure how to connect that exactly, is that in our days now, in this place where there's this horrific war going on, and like really, really hard days, and people are so much in their fire, really so much in their fiery sun, in a way, like forgetting the softness of the moon. How can we plant the seed for the beauty of the full moon to come and rise, to shine upon the vision that we really need? Because we're really lacking that, we're lacking the vision of the fullness of the moon. We're lacking the beauty of hope, and like, it's just everyone's not seeing where to go right now. There's such darkness. And I'm just calling, upon this circle as well. If we can just plant the seed, like Ia spoke, just plant the seed of our vision of where we want to go as humanity and bring the softness through. We need this so much. So, yeah, just really very, like I'm so grateful to be speaking here with you. I really feel these words flowing from my heart. I'm really pleading to be able to shine the light again, really reflect the light. It's there. I don't need to create it. Just open up and allow it to come through to people. So yeah, women come together and bring the moon forth. I really believe we can do this. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Shukran. I think, you're helping us to already do that, which you're wishing for. So thank you, everyone. And as you're talking, Muna, I'm thinking about how we can be blinded by darkness, but we can also be blinded by looking into the sun. And how the moon is one thing that we can look directly to and not be blinded, but actually see. So thank you for that reminder of this much needed kind of balance and the ability to choose, even where it seems we don't have a choice, but we always do. I mean, even in the most horrific situation, maybe we don't have the choice of what happened, but how it happened. And there's always the discernment of which parts of me do I like now. So thank you for those reminders and questions, and I join your pleading, and I hug you from afar, and thank you for being here. And Catherine, who opened us up, maybe you can now share what's coming to you now.
Ooh. Kia ora, I come into these circles, I do my own little kind of mantra before we begin. And this is what I ask myself. Whatever I can imagine how great the circle's going to be like today, how can it be any better than that? And then I imagine the universe is like she's filing her nails, waiting for me to ask her to come and help her. Oh, hello. How can it get any better than that? Let me show you. So she's shown me today. Oh boy, my heart and mind is just blown. And I'll tell you why. It's because you really want to connect with everyone on this call. Every time I come on here, I'm like, oh, I just want to really connect with them. And all these connections keep popping. The first one is what Diana said, about this, the dark side, but it's something we have to embrace. Hey, it's there. So, let's not delude ourselves. Life is darkness and it's light. It's all of it. And so I was thinking about it. Something came to my mind, which is something that happened to me actually this week. I got really triggered. I found myself just getting really triggered. And and in the meditation we did down the led, I reflected on that. And I was like, why is it I'm getting really triggered? You know what I came up with? It's because I'm grieving, obviously. But I want to be more empowered and have a sense of agency and control, even in my grief. I don't want to feel sad. I don't want to feel confused, because that feels vulnerable, and I hate feeling vulnerable. I want to come from a place of strength. So that on the emotional scale, feeling angry feels better. So when I feel the sadness and the confusion coming on, I just go trigger. I go straight to anger. Hey, but people, that ain't good. That might be a short-term way of surviving something. The ego's like, yeah, you're surviving it with anger. Awesome. But that's not a long-term solution. It's not a long-term solution. As Muna just said, hey, we need to soften out. We're all fiery and all that. That's not really taking us to good places in the world. So yeah, I have some work to do. I mean, I've always known it, but here's another idea that came to me listening to everyone talking. You know, it's a radical idea. What the moon is telling us is something really radical. You know, the idea of actually embracing the dark. Oh, it's kind of radical. Going into exploring your shadow self and why it is that you behave in these contrasting ways that you do. Why is that? Go and take a look at that. That's where all the juicy, you know, learning is found. Those places you don't want to go. They're like, ooh, I don't want to go there. It makes me physically feel, ugh. But as soon as you have that your body is physically telling you when you feel that, that's actually a sign and indicators like, go there, girl, go there, take a look, get out that magnifying glass and examine and interrogate with love, why that is. So yeah, radical idea. I was just listening to the talk and this idea dropped in, really radical, about forgiveness, because on another call we've had, remember I said, hey, with the, you know, our Māori cultures, we don't really do forgiveness. It's more about balancing opposing energies, and that's our core, you know, objective. It's not to forgive per se, but it's to seek balance between opposing forces and energies. But then, you know, I looked at that and I thought, you know, what if, and everything in the universe is possible. So this is possible too. What if we can move even beyond forgiveness? The only reason we need to forgive in the first place is because we arrive at a place, you know, where our ego is like, oh, they've wronged me, or oh, someone's hurt me, or oh. What if we never even got there? We just circumvented that. Nah. And we remembered this thing about integration and holistic. And that's what the moon teaches us. I'm the dark and the light. Boom. I'm full and I'm nothing. Boom. Fractal universe. I am you and you are me. Wow. And Yael, you remind us of that all the time. Hello, my other self. Hello, my other self. Hello. I am you and you are me. When you really take that idea in fully, oh, so who's doing the harming of me? It's me. If I am you and you are me and we are us and everything is everything, it really doesn't make sense to talk about something else is hurting me. It's in me. I'm the universe and the universe is me. It's all in me, including our perceptions of things. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. You know, so all of that just went boom. And I glimpsed for a millisecond. I couldn't hold on to it because, you know, I'm paying attention to the speakers. But this idea dropped in, this image dropped in for a millisecond. I could imagine the possibility of never even having to forgive anyone because I just never went there, because I realized the full integration, you know, unified field of everything. Wow. You know, normally I have to go into a meditation to get there. But I was here on this call and I got there. Wow. That's the power of the circle. I'm just so grateful right now. And I think I'll just close off as I do. Boop. If that's okay with everyone. Well, I'm so buzzing because I'm going to go and have a conversation with my husband after this. Shout out to my husband. He's had to put up with me for a week. Of my triggering. So yeah, I love my husband, and he's Aquarius. My sign is Aquarius rising. Ooh, by the way, the other reminder, you know, the Marama, we call it the Marama, the moon, the Marama. Marama. So you've got Ma, clarity, bookending, Ra in the middle, enlightenment. That's what the moon is, Marama. It's all of that. And Māori also have, you know, traditionally, we live by the Marama Taka. Marama, the moon, Taka means revolution, rotating. So the cycles of the moon. Traditionally, it like guided every activity we did, everything. Not so much now because of colonization, but it's making a big comeback. Woo! And these sorts of conversations are helping normalize. Okay, I'm getting distracted. I'm gonna pull the top one. Woo! Okay. So that's Rangi Nui. That's the Sky Father. Rangi Nui is the Sky Father. Of course, obviously the moon resides, you know, in the sky. Maybe it's also a bit about, you know, we can see Ra there, enlightenment. Nui, that means expansive. So we can think about, expanding our enlightenment. Oh, we're kind of doing that already. But who is the partner to Ranginu? It's Papa Tuanuku, the Earth Mother. So again, fractals, you know. So we have the marama, the moon, we have the counterpart, the sun. Everything is about, you know, reconciling these apparent opposites, but they're not opposites. It's all one thing. Wow, that blows my mind. So if we can come back to that idea of unified field, maybe we can remember. It's just remembering, that's all. Because we've been here before. If you want to think in terms of past lives, or if you want to think of, you know, before the womb and before being birthed, we were some other energy form. Energy is not, you know, what is that, third law or something of thermodynamics? Energy isn't created or destroyed. It just changes form. So we've always been here. We're just changing. And that's what the moon tells us too. Change. Get used to it. Change is cyclical. It's sacred geometry. Get used to it. Embrace change. Go into it. You know, it is scary. The ego makes it scary for us because the ego wants to control it. It wants to maintain familiarity. It wants to stay the same. But no, you're going to be very disappointed if you can't embrace change. So yes, thank you very much for all of this learning. Man, I'm going to have to review the recording of this because there's so much. So much. Thank you very much. Love you all, and it's great to connect. I wish we did this more than once a month, to be honest. But hey, maybe we'll put that wish out there.
Thank you, Catherine. Our elders here say that once upon a time we were all connected by spirit and not by online, or, you know, so we can do this more often there. Less means and more meaning, I guess. But thank you I felt like you're kind of saying what I'm going through in every circle. So it's like, you know, so much is coming in, and then eventually, like, you can only say so much, right? It's like this miscellaneum, and then you have one little mushroom that you can talk to. So thank you for feeling it, and the way your culture, much like what Celine described, how everything is kind of done in relation to the moon's phases, the Maramataka, is that how you say it? She's trying to unmute, I think. Yeah.
Yes, Maramataka. I put the word in the chat there. You can like internet search it, you'll find heaps about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I like it to be spoken by our wisdom keepers more than by the Google wisdom keeper. But thank you for everything. And I'm wondering, kind of say, and Kumu Sabra, I kind of feel you have something to say. Am I right?
What I wanted to say is that even though I'm traveling, as I'm on the road, but I am enjoying this conversation so much. And there's so much more I could have shared with all of you. But to hear your stories about Mahina, the moon, and its importance to you and your cultures, and the history that Mahina has in our lives is huge. It's huge with all of us. Mahina plays a very important role, and I will pay more attention to her. Every day every class I begin with, who has a birthday today? And that birthday person, that birthday student has to tell me what day it is, what moon it is, and what is significant about that moon and that time. And here in Hawaii, we have little cards for each moon that tell the importance of it. And it tells you what is a good time to fish, what is a good time to farm, and if it's a time to rest. And so to hear this from all of your different cultures, hey, there's so much in common that I didn't know, and of course but to hear it from all of you is so fun. It's so stimulating, and it makes me want to learn more. about each and every one of your cultures. So thank you so much for sharing. I love it. I love it. Thank you.
Mahalo. Mahalo. Thank you so much. And with that, Iya, can we ask you to share your final words, and then after Iya, we will give 2 minutes to our audience to offer your silent offerings in the chat box, and then Iya will close us with a song. But before that, I feel you have also something to
But
say.
you want me, you asked me if I want to say something before we close or what? I could say a lot. There's so much on the board that we could learn about where we are. And these what I like is basically what hear from the gathering, what works for us. If we need to look at being more in those breakout circles, like if that serves them, if they could leave us some feedback to that effect, I think it would be helpful if people are feeling a need for that, so they can have more voices and more connection to that, to what we're doing. Creates more intimacy, I feel. So that's an invitation to, if we can get that kind of feedback, it'd be helpful. But teaching wise and sharing more information, I could do lots of storytelling and take us in deeper places, but that would mean we can talk, but I like to think that we could also do ceremonial, help our people to understand what it is to do ceremonially around these moon cycles. And maybe we can put that in our next cycle, is those questions. If people have those interests, we could sort of begin to share different rituals and ceremonies that individuals could do on their own. Okay, so that's all I know. Thank you.
Thank you. So some of the people already started putting things in the chat, and please continue. And we will now be silent for 2 minutes. And please be nourished by the words in there that are nourishing for you. And just let go of what, push away the pasta just to have the salad. Okay, this is a potluck. And just come with your unique plate and palette and pick whatever nourishes you. And after that, we shall close. Thank you to reminded us we are, and every encounter is a co-creation. So thank you for co-creating this with us. The sharings that we heard would not have been available if the deep listening wasn't there. So thank you to all of you who helped us hold this energy in a good way. And Iya, can you close with your blessing for us?
Okay, let me see, where are we? Just ground ourselves and connect wherever you are in your space and grounding ourselves in that sacred moment of wherever we are, in that moon cycle, in that space. Breathing in down through that center. And in this time, feel what's calling to you from this moon cycle. What's emerging and where is it emerging inside of your being? Just allow it to be there. Take a deep breath down into that. Imagine that breath falling down into the wombs of creation herself, Mother. And take that mother, that energy from that womb all the way up through your womb, all the way up through all of your centers, your belly, into your heart, into your throat, all the way up, and just reach into the heaven and join yourself with Grandmother Moon herself. Join yourself with Grandfather and the sacred masculine. And bring all of those energies back down through those cycles into yourself, into your heart, into your belly. And just imagine that you bringing all of those together, and that as you leave this cycle, this circle tonight, that you will hold that and nurture that through this cycle into its fullness, into its winging, and that you will give some attention to it. And you'll be guided to it until you come out on the other side and begin that cycle again. Breathe in and hold that inside of yourself. And as we close, one of the things I want to invite you, allow these images and energies to come up. And keep a relationship with them in your writing by lighting a candle and sitting with them, or just allowing them to be there. Breathe in, hold them, breath in, breath out. I'm aware of that breath in, and then I'm holding this agreement with myself. I'm aware of that breath in, and I'm letting out any doubt and anxieties. I'm breathing in and realize that I'm making this agreement with myself. And I'm breathing in again, and I affirm this agreement with myself. And I breathe out any doubts around my agreement. And so it be. Ashe, Aho, Amen. Have a great week and journey well.
Ashe, Aho. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And have a good full moon in a few days.
That's right. I'll see you soon, why not?
I don't know.
I think I'm going to see you soon, and then soon.
Possibly. Can we stop the YouTube live streaming, please? Don't know how to do it. Joanna, Michelle, am I to do this? You know?